The inductees into the 2025 Ag Hall of Distinction have been announced. Recognizing significant contributions to agriculture, the awards are given annually to 3 worthy candidates.
This year's recipients are LSU AgCenter wheat breeder Dr. Steve Harrison, forestry giant the late Joe Burns, and former Louisiana Farm Bureau Public Relations Director and host of this show, the late Michael Dana. Each week in March, we'll look at the hard work done by each one of them to receive such a prestigious award.
This week, we're highlighting the career of Dr. Stephen Harrison. Here's the LSU AgCenter's Craig Gautreaux.
The crosses that we make, every year we identify a series of lines that we want to utilize as parents.
I still know every line.
Steve Harrison, both literally and figuratively, grew up in wheat and oat breeding plots in the southeast. While his mother wanted him to be a doctor, he followed in his father's footsteps and is now considered one of the premier small grains plant breeders in the country through his time with the LSU AgCenter.
From the time I was tiny, I walked plant breeding fields, had exposure to a lot of different plant breeders. Dad worked for a company called Coker's Pedigreed Seed in South Carolina, and I worked there starting at 14. And so when I came out of grad school, I was prepared for a number of crops. LSU just happened to be the first position that I interviewed for, and I never went on another interview. I enjoy being in the greenhouse, making crosses, but I really enjoy being out in the field, looking at my babies in the spring. My daughter would kill me if I said that. Evaluating plots and thinking about the parentage and where they came from and what genes they've got in them and what they might become.
Food to my soul. Whoa, where happiness grows.
And every year, the program makes about 350 crosses or new hybridizations a week, about 250 oats. There's no instant gratification. You're planning, when you make a cross, you're planning for 6 to 10 years down the road.
According to Harrison, working in a university setting has some inherent advantages, especially in a plant breeding program. It takes a collaborative effort, and having plant pathologists, entomologists, and farm managers nearby helps greatly.
The real advantage of being a university plant breeder is that you are the boss. You control everything about the plant breeding program.
You can call me bluff. I'm strong, I'm confident, I ain't never gonna stop.
You decide what crosses to make, you decide what directions to go with the breeding program, you decide what varieties to release, what breeding lines to release, what diseases to address. You have complete control.
While Harrison has been credited with developing many wheat and oat varieties, he will tell you one of his most important accomplishments was his involvement in the creation of SunGrains, an agreement with several southeastern universities to improve the efficiency of small grain variety research.
Without a doubt, the greatest multi-state collaborative research group that's ever been. And so now in SunGrains, we have regional nursery sites where we evaluate breeding lines from all programs. Prior to 2006, my breeding lines, my advanced lines, were only tested in Louisiana at a couple of locations. Now they're tested at 12 locations in 8 states every year. Last year we planted 30,000 wheat hedgerows in a day. About 60 anthers out of this fork, and there are potentially about 24 F1 seeds that could form on this female. What we got at least 13 seed out of that cross. So the crosses I'm making today, I'll be long gone before they become varieties. But hopefully they will.
Excuse me, sir, do you know we're running out of time from the day we arrive? 22 million and 75.
Developing varieties is a difficult task, and doing it in Louisiana presents a special set of challenges. Diseases and insects thrive in our subtropical climate, and extreme weather events can ruin research plots, setting back the breeding program. Perseverance is a necessity.
Our biggest issues, though, are diseases and insects. We get every disease and insect known to man: Hessian fly, aphids, barley yellow dwarf, leaf rust, stripe rust, stem rust, Fusarium head blight, and on and on and on. So it's always a challenge to stay even with or ahead of those biotic stresses.
But you have to be here first thing in the morning, say 8 o'clock, to tap the wheat pollen, set up pollinations to make them shed. Then oats are the exact opposite. They shed pollen late in the afternoon when it starts cooling off. So if you're doing both, you got to be here in the morning and in the afternoon. That's God's way of keeping wheat and oat breeders out of the bars, I guess.
Harrison helps coordinate the U.S. Department of Agriculture's International Oat Nursery. This involves collecting, sharing, and exchanging germplasm of oat varieties from more than 20 countries.
There are no commercial oat breeders in the U.S. All of the oats that growers and hunters and other people utilize come from public breeding programs. So it's a tremendous crop to work with. It's a tremendous tool in terms of training grad students.
Here you go. Just like that. Much better. You don't want to drink 3 cups of coffee in the morning that you're going to be crossing wheat, because if your hands are shaking or crossing oats, it will be very difficult. Not many student workers could cross oats. Wheat's a lot easier when the pollen is ready to shed, and we'll just kind of tap that to cause them to dehisce, to shed pollen. The pollen will fall down from the male onto the female.
Plant my feet into solid ground, 'cause I'm drifting and I wanna come down.
When Steve Harrison started the wheat and oat breeding program shortly after his arrival in 1984, he had no idea where the journey would take him. It's taken him across the globe, even as far as getting him inducted into the Louisiana Agriculture Hall of Distinction.
It's something I certainly did not expect. It's a tremendous honor. I don't know if they're trying to tell me I need to retire and leave here, or if it's a longevity thing, but I greatly appreciate the honor. There are some very, very prestigious people in that group, and I feel honored.